Alright, so here's my Goblin Slayer outfit. I've been working on it for a short while, and then I was pushing it real close to the convention I took it out to, and I was working on it like the night of. So some of it is pretty choppy, and some parts I think I really just nailed. The shoulders here, I feel like I got those all just about perfect. If I can angle them right, and you can see. Shoulders I'm real proud of. Those I did pretty great. And then the chest pieces are pretty good. The helmet turned out pretty decent. Here, you can get a more straight on look at it. Chest turned out pretty good. And then the helmet, there's parts of the helmet that I like and don't like. As a whole, it's pretty okay, I guess. But the plume on the back, I feel like I just nailed. That looks pretty good to me. It's a little brighter on the camera than it is in real life. In person, it's a little darker, more faded. It's an old t-shirt. And so all I did was just cut out some random jagged strips, kind of roll it up, and then on the inside I just cut a hole, and you can see I just kind of stuffed it in there. This little gray piece, that's just a piece of duct tape holding it in there. So that turned out pretty well. One thing that was irritating me a ton when I was still designing it was these ridges on the top of Goblin Slayer's helmet. Let's see if I can get a good angle. Well, first of all, it's real choppy because, like I said, I did it real close to the convention deadline. But I'll probably just tear off this front visor part and then start over on that. But the rest of it looks pretty okay. It's decent. Like I said, I'm not super psyched out about it, but it's not my best, not my worst work. And then you can see I didn't even have the broken off horns that Goblin Slayer has. Some of the seams could have been better. They're not, I mean, it's hard to tell from a distance, so in that sense it's alright. If you kind of looked real close, you can see them. Obviously right here there's one. I tried filling it in with quick seal, I think it's called, that latex that you see in other cosplayer videos, but man, I don't know. It fills it in, but then it kind of shrinks down a tiny bit. So you really got to put in a whole bunch. And it also, if you looked real close, you can't tell just by in person, but it makes a little bit smoother of a texture because it's latex, right? So it's got like a rubbery, smooth feel once you press it into the foam which is porous. Now, I did seal the foam with a heat gun, and so that did help. But, you know, overall, it doesn't look terribly bad. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of has like a look that it's made from multiple smaller sheets of metal, which is kind of cool, I guess. The visor, if you notice, kind of wiggles around here. It's because I put a piece of Velcro inside, which will help take it off and on real easy. And it's just some craft foam, some real thin craft foam that I painted. The painting also could have been better, but you know, whatever. I'll just go over it again, and some of these I'm gonna remake anyway. So this visor, it looked okay, but I feel like the chin piece should have been bigger. I'd like to rework a little bit some of these, I don't even know what they're called, these grids for on the face. It's, as you can imagine, it's way hard to see out of this helmet, but it looks pretty good in some of the pictures. You couldn't see my eyes very well. To get it all blacked out, all I did was take a pillowcase from Walmart. It was like $5, and it came with two, and it had that little bit of Velcro there, so kind of killed two birds with one stone. I have a whole bunch of cloth left over. The cloth I used again later on, this is the arm piece. I just glued it on the back here, and that kind of helped hold it together. You can see on my skinny arms. So that turned out pretty well. The arms also, I think I did a good job on. I'm pretty pleased with that. The only thing I would do differently with the arms and really any of the straps was make the straps themselves adjustable. So a lot of the parts on Goblin Slayer have like leather straps. I just found this brown elastic. Looks good enough for the most part. And I mean, saves a lot of time. I don't have to get EVA foam and then make it look like leather. I didn't have to spend the money on real leather. So just get these brown elastic straps, saves you time and money. Looks just as good, I think. So that's it for the helmet, the arms. So if I had to give any advice on painting, is to practice on, well, for Goblin Slayer specific case, practice on his left arm pieces, because those will be covered up by his shield anyway. And the shield, I did this I think the night before the convention, so this is not my greatest work, right? So you can see all my brush strokes. That's pretty abysmal looking, but the shield overall, the size and the general look of it, I think turned out pretty well. Inside inner circle being a little bit lighter, this shade of gold on these little circles came out pretty well. Another thing I would have done differently is this battle scar, this kind of battle damage he's got on his shield. It's too perpendicular with each other, and it looks like some kind of X or cross pattern. I want it to look more natural, like, you know, of course some goblin or whatever smacked it. So I think next time if I remake the shield, and I might, because the shield's pretty simple, if I were to remake it, I might take the smaller scar, move it at a slight angle, offset it a little bit, just make it a little bit more asymmetrical, not such a clear-cut X pattern. That was kind of driving me insane, but for the most part it looked okay. The back, all I did was use these brown elastics again. So the back of it doesn't have to look nice, because it's going to be cut. I mean, no one's going to look behind the shield. So that turned out okay. And then eventually I'll take a heat gun and then just form it over probably like a metal mixing bowl, give it that more concave shape that his shield has. So there's that. The leather piece behind his plate armor and the chainmail are also spots that I would like to improve upon. The leather part, obviously, or maybe not obvious to you, but I didn't finish it. He should have like a collar, some straps going to the back piece of his leather armor, and then that sort of fur he's got around there. This EVA foam it doesn't breathe at all, so it's going to insulate you a ton. And I've been wearing these really thin athletic shirts underneath it, and that works pretty well. It's kind of a strange feeling, because some parts of you are going to be real hot and then some parts are really cold. You know, you just got to deal with it. So there's the front. So I got to finish the leather part, the fur. Let's finish up. Check out the back. So the back part, the back plate also turned out pretty well, I think. Yeah, I got no complaints there. Just kind of this diamond, not diamond pattern, but you know, that shape. Just cut it out, pushed it in a little bit, and glued it in place. There's nothing too fancy going on there. These side straps here are actually not this elastic. I ran out of elastic, and I didn't want to. I could have bought more. I just didn't, because I'm lazy. Kind of experimenting with things. This is my first suit, so I took some black elastic. You can see it. Oh, there. Now you can see it kind of stretch out. I took some black elastic to connect the front and back plates, and then I just glued some brown crafting foam around it. And I've seen some people take crushed up aluminum foil, place it on the EVA foam, heat it up, and press it in, and that creates a texture look, and it looks like leather. So I'll try that later down the road. Stepping away from the leather, we got this mesh. This is like a non-slip material that you put inside drawers or in toolboxes, you know, that kind of thing. If you look around LARPing communities, this is what some of them use for cheap chainmail look. It looks okay in this one, but I think what I'm going to do is take some black paint, kind of rub it on there, give it the sort of dirty, grungy look, and that'll help with that. So, but I mean, that's like underneath a whole bunch of layers, and it's down low, so no one's going to be looking there. The belt buckle, I feel like I just nailed that. That looks pretty good to me. And I'll include some of the pictures of me drawing up templates for it. So these corners are kind of rough looking, but then the front's all smooth. I liked that. Kind of, Goblin Slayer's armor is supposed to be like a mass-produced, cheaply made kind of armor. So having some of the edges kind of roughed up like that, I thought was kind of a neat look. And then on the back of it, I glued on a piece of black elastic. That way a belt could slide through and it would be held in place instead of just dangling about everywhere. I did not finish the pouches for it. He's got like that butt pouch, and then the knife, his throwing knives on the side and everything. I'll get to that eventually, but that's what I didn't get done. So I got the torso mostly done, his arms, the shield, the helmet, and then the legs I did very quickly. These turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's not perfect. He should have a second piece down at the bottom that covers up the top of his foot, but I figured no one's really going to be looking down there, so might as well just save myself the time. There's his thigh pieces. Just has black straps that, you know, go around your thighs. On these, but as I was walking around the convention, they kept wanting to slide around, slide down, and fall off my leg. So I think what I'll do next is take some fishing line or something, glue that onto the back or around the elastic, and then have that go up and attach to my belt. And I think the fishing line is going to be really hard for people to see, and it's going to keep this from falling down. So should be pretty simple fix there. Alright, so I should have mentioned it earlier that the helmet started off as Evil Ted Smith's Paladin helmet. I just made a bunch of changes to it along the way, got those ridges and different things made, and kind of customized it into the Goblin Slayer. The template was free, so you just gotta download it, cut it out in paper, and then just do a bunch of trial and error, get it right.